In 1994, he's had poetry published in various pamphlets and magazines. He's a second-generation punk and a massive Charles Bukowski fan who was raised by nuns. Please welcome Mr. Richard Atkinson.
Used to this. Well, I better. Right, most of my poetry is kind of observational, so this is about a trip to Morrison's. Like eating cheesecake on a Wednesday, she was in front of me at the supermarket. Her hair was blonde, she had on a leopard skin print coat. She turned around and I noticed her mouth kind of went up. Not in a smile, but something else. I've not had a haircut in a long time, so I look a mess, and have not shaved for several days. Probably look about as down and out as anyone can look. But at the moment I wished I was shaved and had just had a haircut, a flat top with a quiff. It was also interesting that she had in her basket soya milk. I would quite like to fall in love with someone that bought soya milk. And she had other weird stuff in her basket, which signalled her out as different from everyone else. I just wished I had shaved and had a flat top with a quiff, and maybe had my hair dyed blonde like hers to cover up my grey. Some days it is worth looking good, because sometimes you see people and just fall in love, like eating cheesecake on a Wednesday. I fell in love with the checkout girl a few weeks back, and she overcharged me by accident. Some accidents can be wonderful, like good art found. I noted her name badge, it was double-barrelled. I've just about forgotten it, but I can remember her face. I hope I'm a little bit more than just old or very old. Maybe I should get my hair dyed again and walk quickly in the street as though I had somewhere important to go, like everyone else seems to do. I'm moving swiftly on. This is called the Shriek. Most of my poetry is kind of observational. It's just, I'm just noticing things that happen. The kid was standing over the other side of the platform. She was a young lady. There was something about her way. She did not talk, and her maybe mother went to one side of her, the other side, and placed the young lady's right hand into a pocket she had in her jacket. Maybe because it had just turned colder, maybe because she really cared. You do not see that sort of thing happening much nowadays. And I wondered, as she had not said anything to her maybe mother, it had all been done with eye contact as far as I could see. Just wondered if the lady had learning difficulty, and just felt amazed how much the maybe mother really cared about her maybe daughter, or maybe they were sisters. Then as the metro train turned up, the lady gave a little shriek of excitement. Woo! And it sounded really good, and I felt like giving a little shriek myself as a way of reply, like an owl, but I didn't, because people just don't do that sort of thing nowadays, which is a crying shame. This was published in, what was it published? I think it was the Ugly Tree in Manchester, Mac, which is sadly closed down, but it's really good, has some good stuff in it. It was a few years back. Laughing inside the inside. It was a cold day, drizzling, late spring. I got my coffee and sat down. In front of me, I could see the back of a bald-headed man, although not his face. Having not noticed his face when I entered, I wondered if he had one. Well, you can never be too sure. A young man sat to the side of me with a toddler, explaining to the waitress what school she wanted to send him to. Noticed big grey patches of moisture on the cafe's front window, looking out onto the street, and at the top of the window, the word heatwave of the shop opposite, in bold black letters on red. I clicked my camera twice. No one appeared to notice or laugh. I never did check if he had a face. It's about the old man who died in 94. Yeah, a bit of a boozer. It's called Father Dad Jack. Why don't you call me Dad, son? Bang slips all bloody lost, empty sherry bottles, fuse taken out of cheap record player plug to prevent any fuss when he got drunk and wanted it loud. Below him was a man he described as a living dead person, a miserable bugger, moan, moan, moan. Helping out his unemployed drinking chum, only family he really had. I visit, his Irish boozing friend is there. Dad played the tape I got him as a birthday present, the Singing Detective soundtrack. Laugh? I almost cried. Dad laughed as well, bellyache type laugh. Thump, thump on the armchair. He said I'd be giggling about it later, people would think me crazy. The idea of Dad sitting there with his boozing pal, complaining about miserable buggers while the corny tape played about lost sweethearts. No life here. Those bloody horses, those bloody pools, those bloody Tories, said whilst listening to old crooners talking rubbish about their lost loves. It really made me laugh. Dad gave me a bar of chocolate at the end of the visit. I gave him a little money for cigarettes. In the hospital we did not really speak. He told me to keep warm up north. Still smoking like a factory, thought my back had gone. Dad was half dead, riddled with cancer, life out of eyes. Still moaning, there's no bloody life here. Watching the footy, moaning about Charlton's coaching skills. On crutches, he fell on the way to the toilet, would not let me help him back up. He died soon after. It took many visits to the doctor before they felt the obvious lumps under his armpits. He was full of it. I guess no one wants to touch a dirty old man. The bastards. Don't let the bastards get you down, son. Yes, Jack. Sorry, Dad. This is another observational one about when I was at the Metro. The gates of hell and the blue balloon. There were two dogs as fierce as a Tanundra waterfall standing by the gates going down. Then someone came with pram, the pushchair, not the group, with a blue balloon tied onto it, floating above. One of the dogs tried to smell the blue balloon, and after their snout touched and nudged, both the balloon and the hound darted back like ice cream melting. The hound almost jumped up, pulling at the lead, causing everyone to be alarmed and then laugh about it. It made me feel easier about various things anyhow. At least I wasn't afraid of a damn blue balloon, even though I knew we were all going down. Where the hell do they need security here? If they don't let in drunks, who the hell will they let in? Even with blue balloons, I'd figured it out. All I needed was a blue balloon. Or maybe it was all a con and I was really going up instead of down. Right, this is It's Over. Just an observation one. I saw a television programme about a lady, well, I won't explain it because it might ruin it a bit. It's over. We'd argued before getting on the train. He wore a Burberry coat over his officer's uniform, smelt of sardines, pipe smoke and humbugs. We didn't talk, just looked at steam and fields passing by the window. It's over, he said. My heart sank, right down to somewhere near my ankle socks, and I could only look out at the green rectangles floating by, feeling numb like a blank void, like slate. The war, he said. I mean, it's over. The war's over. Felt a huge surge of happiness, relief. Didn't think the war's over, just we're still together. Must have been the only one not thinking on how it was finally over. He'd heard it on the wireless. Yeah, this is quite an old one, but I like it. It's called The Poet. There's a man who lives in my street who lowers the tone of the neighbourhood. My dad says so. He lives on his own and wears 50 suits without a tie, which is a bit odd. And always looks like his mind is elsewhere, on holiday, somewhere raining, maybe, which is a bit odd. And does not work and does not even own a car, just a cheap tatty bike, which is a bit odd. He even plays classical music and sings to himself sometimes, which is very, very odd. I know he lowers the tone because I've seen him going out furtively in a big black coat and black woolly hat in the small hours, cycling to the neighbourhood tone volume dial at the end of our street. He turns it right down the blighter when everyone's asleep and not looking. See sparks fizzing from diodes, hear distant crackle and hum and crazy man laughter. My dad says they should keep it padlocked or house prices will keep on plummeting, which is not very odd, but understandable really. Just about a visit. I went to have a meeting with a psychiatrist and I bumped him in the street. This actually happened and I've read it to him and he laughed. Anyway, it's called The Meeting. Yeah, I went to see the psychiatrist recently. Last meeting never happened. He had blanked me in the street. I wanted to ask him what was happening about the meeting. He just blanked me and talked into his mobile, secret things and words. Then at the new meeting, I asked him why he blanked me out in the street. Very hush-hush, he said. I work for a secret gov organisation, he said, very hush-hush. I'm their top operative, he said. One day, we will take over the world. He said, is it criminal related, Biz, I asked. Yes, he said. I can say no more. Very hush hush, he said. I have superpowers, he said. Very hush hush. You might have blown my cover. Shall I do one more? Right, this is a little poem. Again, it's just kind of observational stuff, really. Today the sky looks small, like you could fit it all onto a postage stamp. People look small, like they were not really there, but all just pretending to be there, like they had an excuse for not being there. My feet look small, even though I've got big feet, the kind you trip over in a hurry and say, God damn you and your lousy big feet. The snow felt small, even though it was coming down in chunks, and I felt small, even though I am over 6 foot. My voice felt small, like an apology for an apology already given. My fork felt small. I could just not handle it. My plate felt small, and I even paid detectives to find the food on it. The cafe felt small, even though it was quite bigger than me, and a lot of other folk. People's thoughts felt small as well, even though I could not actually see them, but I did imagine the whole big island felt small, like we all knew each other and each other's business and goings on. Like our souls were all connected by some sort of invisible small machine that makes little chugging noises, like some old train going up a big little hill. There was a guy on the platform, which incidentally felt small, talking on his small mobile phone, saying he'd just seen a band last night. And although I did not see them, I imagine they were probably quite a small band, even though they were probably making big music, the kind lovers like, or how I imagine they like, as I have not been one for a very long time. Although looked at in centuries, this could in fact be a small amount of time, if you think about it, Romans, Anglo-Saxons, time team. And let there be light exclamation marks, exclamations that is. But I find it difficult to think in that way because it's quite big really. If you thought big all the time, your head might get so big you would need people with saws and other tools I cannot even name just to get your head in the little door. And it would probably make them feel small as well, as if their brains were full of sawdust and not fat, like ours all are. Or so I always imagine when I try to think small, that is, think small. But I am a Joseph Beuys fan.
Go on once again, if you please, for Mr. Richard Atkinson.